Morning.
Morning, how are we doing?
All right, thank you.
Just give it a couple of minutes and just see if anyone else is on their way.
I'm not the first, I hope.
How do you mean?
The first to come on.
Yes, you are. Yeah, it's just me and you at the moment. Just me and you.
Really? Oh, you're
At the moment.
joking.
Yeah, no, just me and you at the moment. So that's all right. That's all right.
I went on the website this morning, but I was having trouble getting in, but I'd taken all the details from last night.
Yeah, I've put it as a photo now as well. But yeah, it's an odd one. It works. Everyone's like, I had this problem, I had that problem, and every time I go into it, it's like, yep. It's generally been all right, but yeah. But yeah, he does know there's some issues with it, so he is looking into that. And I've put the session codes as pictures up on the page. So
Yeah.
yeah, which is good, which is fine.
I mean, I'm not on a computer. I'm only on a tablet,
All right, okay,
So I
yeah.
don't know if that makes any difference.
Well, you never know. You never know.
No.
The members page. I'm just keeping an eye on the members page as well in case anyone's saying that they can't see the codes or hasn't seen that picture. So
Yes.
I can point them in the direction. Second. So I'm just editing one of my posts where I said the booking system was working, but I think he's working on it at the moment. Booking system is offline for some people. Hello, Liz.
Hello. I'm still halfway through watching your video from last night.
No worries. You keep on
But
watching.
I noticed there's a Soprano session now, so I kind of paused it, got the number, I'm joining in, and I'll catch up later.
I love it. That's perfect. It's like, oh, the times. Excellent. I'll join in now. 1 second. Just let me put this on the Facebook page. Update. Cool. Oh, we've got another in the room. I didn't see that. Mary Webster wants to come in and join the fun. Hello, Mary.
Hello, it's Marie.
Marie, excellent. Yes, I wasn't quite sure. Cool, excellent. Okay, we will get going. I'm just because we've got some issues with the booking system that works fine for me, but it definitely isn't working for others, and they're having legitimate issues. And the web man is trying to sort them as we speak. I'm just kind of keeping a side eye on the Facebook page just in case people say they can't get onto their sessions. Obviously, I purposely run the first 2 sessions, so I've just come off an 8 o'clock baritone section. I finished at 8:57. and then straight into here with to wait for you guys to then do the 9 o'clock with you. But then there is other people's sessions hit. There's 2 at 10 and there's 4 at 11. So I was just keeping a little bit of an eye. In fact, one of them at 11 is me again. I've managed to take 7 today, so I got 7 sessions to do today. So all sorts of things to go through. So we're going to go through some bits and bobs. Obviously, we're in a notes, words, and breaths, but we'll do some introductions and kind of go through how many say. Oh, I'm going to yawn 1 second. Yeah, well, because there was some issues with the booking system, I think I stopped typing and talking to the technical man who's sorting it out. I think it was 3 a.m. I think I finally put my head down about 3, and I was up at just before 6. I think it was 5:50 a.m. my alarm went off to get set for the day. So yeah, I'm currently running on about less than 3 hours sleep. And yesterday I had 4 because my daughter woke up with a nightmare. So yeah, I'm probably I'm going to be tired by the end of the day. I'm going to have earned my sleep. So we'll go through a couple of things. If at any point I yawn, it's not because you're boring. It's definitely nothing to do with you lovely people. It's just maybe I shouldn't have taken on early morning sessions. Maybe I should have known there'd be an issue with the booking system. Such is the way. Anytime you try and do something fancy, it pays you back, I think. So we will go through a few different bits and bobs. We're going to go through a nice, simple warm-up, doing some rounds, and I'll obviously go through that with you. So, 1 second. Where's my PowerPoint? Cool. So what I'm going to do first is we'll do some introductions, and then we'll go and do a little bit of a few different rounds and stuff, and then we'll kind of get into the nitty gritty of the song, notes, breaths, words, making sure we're all aware what's going on. So first things first. Hello, I am Simon. Some of you may have seen me from my random live streams on Facebook. I set up the collective mainly as initially it was supposed to be a time saver for me because obviously I have a men's barbershop chorus and a mixed barbershop chorus and a community choir, as well as being a director of music at a school. And I thought, ooh, if I do like a vocal project that can involve all of them, and this was my initial thought, how it's changed. I thought if I can do something that involves all of them, then I don't have to do 4 different things, and I can just put all my eggs in the one basket of like a project. And then I was like, oh, I could let other people be involved as well. That would be brill. And then like other people, and maybe 3 or 4 people might want to join. Yes. And the amusing thing is I'm doing this, obviously the collective, and all my different musical groups all want to do their own thing. So I'm doing the collective, and then I'm still having to do 4 separate things with all my different musical groups to then make sure they feel special as well as the collective. So it's basically definitely not been a time saver, but it has been amazing. And it's well worth the time and the lack of sleep and the bags under my eyes. It's well worth it. So yeah, that's me. I'm Simon. I do lots of singing, and I am very glad to be here. So we'll go with Joan Collins, please.
Hi, I'm Joan Collins. I live on the Isle of Wight. I belong to the Labs group, Ladies Labs group, on the Isle of Wight, White Satin, and I've been singing for nearly 23 years.
Wow, good stuff. Good to see you. Liz Jenkins, please.
Hi, I'm Liz. I'm in Swindon. I'm part of a adult musical theatre group for 15 months. But I have never sung barbershop. I haven't done any choral stuff since I was at school. And a friend invited me to this, and it's been really good fun.
Oh, excellent stuff. Good to see you. Yeah, well, again, we're certainly not trying to keep people away. Again, the idea that people who aren't necessarily singing with choirs and things like that are turning up is awesome. So yeah, keep the whole world singing, I say. Marie, please. Marie Webster.
Yes, hi. I'm from Umkomaas in South Africa. And up until recently, I've been singing in the Hibiscus Choir, but then we moved to a retirement village. And over the years, I've been part of shows and concerts and just singing generally. So I'm looking forward to this.
Excellent. Great stuff. Good to have you on board. Now, just very quickly, did you all make some sessions in the last round of rehearsals?
Yes.
Yeah, Joan, how many did you manage to make? By the way, it's not a competition, just so I can give an idea about what I can do. How many did you make?
I think it was at least 3, maybe 4.
Cool, excellent. Liz
I did 4.
did 4, and Marie
3.
3. Excellent. That's cool. It just and all the section leaders are the same with this. Obviously, we're on a notes, breaths, and words session, but again, we just want to make sure that, for example, if lots of people have done none, we know where to start. And if everybody, you've obviously already heard the message from various section leaders, so probably we can. I don't necessarily have to introduce you to concepts. It will just be reminding you of the concepts, reminding you of Ninja Breath, reminding you of various things. We can do a little bit of Q&A if you're finding specific things or you have particular queries with this. However, for the moment, let's do a little bit of a warm-up. Now, I don't know if you were in my sectional, Soprano sectional when I did this, but we're going to do some simple rounds that I produced last week for the sectionals. Can we all see my screen okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent, cool. So you can either do one about an alligator who's been flushed down the sink or whatever, or you can do one with the very difficult words, I like to sing, I like to sing, I like to sing. Or you can do one called Rose Red. What would you like to do, folks?
I don't mind.
Me neither.
Don't mind. Okay. Well, I did Rose Red with my last session, so let's actually go for Alfred. Let's have a little bit of Alfred the alligator. Now, what we're going to do is I am going to... hopefully it's about right for your voice. I've tried to pitch this so it kind of fits everyone's voice. But so obviously you are sopranos. If at any point it's a little bit low for you and you can move it up into the upper octave, that's absolutely fine. So, but hopefully it'll fit your voice in some way, shape or form. Okay? So let's have a listen. Basically, it will sing through the tune. I'm just going to very quickly mute you. And again, I said this in my last session, but I like to tell you when I'm going to mute you rather than just doing it. Otherwise, I think it's a little bit rude. Because in real life, I wouldn't just put my hand over your mouth to make you stop talking. I probably would find a different way of doing it. So digitally, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to mute you rather than just doing it and abusing my power. So I'm just muting you now, so you can obviously sing along with this. It will basically run through the tune for you, and you can sing along if you've never heard it before. It's a bit wordy, but it's not too difficult. So here we go. Have a listen. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Have you ever been to the water spout way down at the bottom of the water system? There you'll find a little alligator who goes by the name of Alfred. If you do, he's mine. I lost him. I threw him down the water spout, and now I'm feeling lonely 'cause he's gone. I miss him. Have you ever been to the water spout way down at the bottom of the water system? There you'll find a little alligator who goes by the name of Alfred. If you do, he's mine. I lost him. I threw him down the water spout, and now I'm feeling lonely 'cause he's gone.
Good stuff.
I miss him.
Excellent. Now, we're going to do it in 2 parts now, okay? So I would like you to choose whether you want to be part 1 or part 2. Okay, it's going to be a simple round. You will hear both part 1 and part 2 being sung, and you just need to choose which one you want to go for. Here we go. It will count you in. I'll let you know. Part 1. 1, 2, 3. Part 1.
Have you ever been to the water spout way down at the bottom of
Part
the
2.
water system? Have you ever been to the water spout way down at the bottom of the water system? There you'll find a little alligator who goes by the name of water spout, and now I'm feeling lonely 'cause he's gone. I miss him. Have you ever been to the water spout way down at the bottom of the water system.
Good stuff.
Have you ever been to the water spout way down at the bottom of the water system? There you'll find a little alligator who goes by the name of water spout. And now I'm feeling lonely because he's gone down the water spout. And now I'm feeling lonely because he's gone. I miss him.
Excellent. This time we'll do it in 4 parts. Okay? Joan, you're part 2. Liz, you're part 3. Marie, you're part 4. I'll let you know when you're coming in, so no one comes in at the beginning. Here we go.
1, 2,
Part
3,
1, no one sing.
4. Have you ever been to the water spout way down
Joan,
at the bottom
2,
of the
3,
water system?
4.
Have you ever been to the water spout way down
Liz,
at the
2,
bottom of the
3,
water
4.
system? Have you ever been to the water spout way down
Marie,
at the bottom of the
3,
water
4.
system? Have you ever been to the water spout way down at the bottom of the water spout? Have you ever been to the water spout way down at the bottom of the water spout? Have you ever been to the water spout way down at the bottom of the water spout? Have you ever been
Good
to
stuff.
the
Repeat when you get to the end.
way down at the bottom of the water spout? Have you ever been to the water spout way down at the bottom of
Hold the
the
note,
water
Joan,
spout?
in a second. Hold your note, Joan. Liz, hold your note. And finishing off with Marie. I miss him. And off. Excellent stuff, folks. Well done. Cool. Okay, so it's not the world's longest warm-up. Obviously, it sometimes takes a lot longer to warm up, but that is probably just something to get our heads in gear and to give us a little bit of harmony and just get our lungs working a little bit. So, first things first, we're just going to go through the whole song with the Soprano guide track video. Then you may have some questions, but we'll just reacquaint ourselves with the song. We'll go through. I will definitely not be doing any vocal modelling this morning on the soprano part. Thankfully, there is already a version of me singing it, which was pitch corrected, and me when I actually had a kind of soprano voice. That morning is definitely not this morning. So don't worry, I'm not going to squeak at you down the microphone. Okay? So I'm going to press play. I'm going to share my screen, and we can basically just have a run through the song, and then we can start putting some work in on it. Here we go. One, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. Don't worry that it's quiet. It will be significantly louder once it kicks in. Here we go. Be prepared. 1, 2, 3. Breathe. 2, 3. S. 2, 3. O into an R. Slowly. Build it and smile. Breathe. Breathe. 2, 3. Place the S. S. It takes 1. Build it, build it, build it. Breathe. Light and beautiful. And good stuff. 3. Breathe. Breathe. It takes that. 1, 2, 3. S. 1. Little bit of tune and good. No breath here. Breathe. No breath here. Just. Good. And no breath here. No breath here. Breathe. And hold it, hold it, hold it. And off. Okay. So, just going to unmute you. So, just to go through, are there specific at this point questions or queries that you may have about anything in the score or anything at all?
I find bar 38 getting the shouter out. I can't get the it in there.
Yeah. Now, it's
shout
more
out.
like shall. Yeah, it's more shall didow. Shall didow. So that's literally, I think, on the track, what it sounds like is basically shall didow dan laird it. So if I was to phoneticize that, it's shall didow, D-I-D-A-U, shall didow an laird it. An laird it. Lair, L-A-I-R, and then dit, D-I-T.
Yeah.
So therefore, yeah, as opposed to shout it out and let it is just lots of T's, it actually goes out a lot more kind of shouted out and let it. Shouted out.
Okay.
So you don't really say the it. It kind of, the shout it out base shouted out. Shouted out is basically how it goes out. And that's fine. That's just, it just, otherwise, and this is obviously from a point of view of if it was choral, sometimes, and again, this is not me bad mouthing. I'll just stop sharing my screen for a second. So, 1 second, stop share. Yes, it's not me bad mouthing choirs and choral and stuff, but sometimes, if you imagine, sometimes when you hear a choir sing a pop song, yeah, but they sing a pop song in choral style with all the kind of properly pronouncing all the words. And sometimes it doesn't quite sound right. Does that make sense? Like, you know, you get like a Coldplay song or something, and they're like, when you try your best, but you don't succeed. And you're like, really? And it just doesn't quite sound right. It doesn't sound like the original. And therefore, this one I basically sang like Barry Manilow, but not obviously trying to sound like him, but I just basically went with that kind of way of singing the lyrics. So yeah, so don't worry if it feels like you're being a bit lazy with the lyrics. And obviously musical theatre, you probably wouldn't want to be lazy with those lyrics so you could actually understand them. But in this song, I think it's fine to go with the kind of Manilow version, which is to blend all the sounds together. And I think that's okay. Any other questions?
I don't think so. I'm, you know, got all the notes and everything. It's just trying to not look at the score, and trying to know where the breaths are and where they aren't. That's for me.
Yeah. So one thing I will go through now on that, which I find really helpful, is the harmony parts score, which I will bring up in a second. 1 second. No, it's not in there. I just need to re-bring it up. So the harmony parts video, for me, is the most useful thing for the timing. So when you think that you're generally there with the notes, and I don't mean perfect, but just generally there with the notes. Here we go, harmony parts video. The harmony parts video is basically the most useful thing, I think, of all of the videos. Okay, just going to share my screen for a second. 1 now, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. So if you just have a look at this, I'll just mute you. Someone's got an odd sound in the background. So the melody disappears in a second. So have a listen, and it's the one you want to listen to for timing. And, but you can hear the S. Okay, so can you hear that in that version, without the melody there, you can really pick out where the S's are, and the fact that there you can hear all those S's are all together. You can hear ones where actually they're not, as in, I don't mean not together as in, but not everybody has the S at the end of voice, not everyone's on the same notes, but the harmony parts, this is useful as well because it shows you where you can breathe. So if we have a look at that little phrase here, you can actually, you know that you're the top line, you're that kind of greeny coloured box one, those ones there at the top, but you can actually see where your breath points are. Okay, so let's just have a listen and I'll talk you through this. And here you can see that you've got a breath. You can then see your next breath coming up, and you can see how long a breath that is. That breath's a bit quicker. This one's coming up a little bit quicker. And you can see your voice there, your breath. Okay, now don't worry if you think, ooh, the video's a little bit out of time with the audio. It's not. It's just the way Zoom works. Okay, so the video that you've got access to, which is also on YouTube, that you can access yourself, is in time. Okay, it's only that the way Zoom works is that the audio and the video are, the audio is in front of the video. The video is always slightly behind, so it looks like the video, like it's not in time. If you use this yourself at home, it is 100% in time. And it means you can really hear where those S's happen. You can hear where those breath points are, but you can also visually see them. So once you think you know the words, it's a useful thing to be running through with this video track, because it really gives you that sense of what's going on in a holistic point of view in the whole song and where those breath points are. So what we're going to do is, I'd like to run through the song with the singing along to the harmony video, and I will have the score up as well. So you do have the option to look at both. But again, it means you can't hear the melody, which I think is actually quite a useful thing for the parts, to not hear the melody, because the melody often goes over the top and kind of interrupts the flow of the harmony parts. Is that okay, folks? Excellent. Okay, so I'll share my screen once more, and we will go through the whole song, but with the harmony parts guide track. Here we go. 1 second. It seems to not want to go backwards. Ah, there we go. What? No! Okay, sorry, 1 second. It did not want to go back to the beginning. Here we go. I'll refresh. I'll resize it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. Just one voice singing in the darkness. All it takes is one voice. Okay, here we go. So they hear what's on your mind. You can hear and you can see. When you look around, you'll find there's more than 1, 2, 3. S, 2, 3. S, 2, 3. A small breath into an R. Build the volume and breathe. Breathe. It takes one voice. Light and beautiful. Soft on the D's, please. Soft on the D's. Good stuff. Let it blossom. No breath here. Straight through. Take ninja breaths if you need them. No breath here. Just. Breathe. Every one. No breath here. No breath here. Swan. Swan. Breathe. Ooh. And then hold it, hold it, hold it, but don't put too much effort in. Try and keep it floaty and off. Okay, so when you're doing your work, when you're doing your rehearsal and stuff, that is a video that I would probably go between your soprano video and then the harmony parts video. The harmony parts video will help you with timing, but will also identify how confident you are with your notes. So actually, with not having your part a lot louder than everything else, it means you can focus on the timing and start to work on that phrasing. And in session 2, the musicality and phrasing sessions, that's a lot of what basically those sessions are about, is once you've got, when you're relatively, like you said, Joan, I'm relatively confident with the notes and the words. That's the point where actually when you move into the phrasing is practicing with that harmony parts and trying to get those overall phrases, because it's keeping the phrase while putting in those ninja breaths. Okay. Now, you're all aware of what ninja breaths are? Yes, it's all been mentioned in your sessionals. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So you'll know that at some points in your part, there's no need for ninja breaths because your sections are not particularly long. However, suddenly you'll get a really long line phrase, and then you'll be like, "Oh, I can't do that in one breath." You never need to worry about that. You can always just take a word out, take part of a word out, but you must practice doing that so that it doesn't affect your the timing of what you're doing. Okay, when you first try and take a word out, the timing's massively affected because then you're not used to doing it. So it needs to be becoming just like the notes and words. You have to practice your ninja breaths and kind of know where you need to do them for you. It'll be different for everyone depending on breath control and the kind of support you've got. But when you do that, just make sure you practice it and then always do it that way. Rather than thinking, "Oh, I don't know if I need the ninja breath here. I might not take it this time," and you run out of air. But you want to make sure that once you've decided what's best for you, then just take it every single time and practice it. Practice doing that. You might want to breathe in on the word, as in breathe in the word. Now, if I was to, for example, I won't do it in pitch, but if I did your part, for example, if I went and everyone will one voice. Could you see that when I breathed in, I still was actually saying the word?
Yes.
So you breathe in the word. Does that make sense? Yeah. And that helps you with, if it was a visual thing, and then this is something when we go back into our choruses and groups and things, you can't tell. So if I muted myself, it looked like I sang the word one, but I just breathed in on it and went, and that's fine. Which means that you're less likely to have time issues than if you place it as a breath. If I was just like one voice, it's not the same. Actually, if you just breathe in on the one, then you know where the V of voice is. It's already there. Okay, so that's another thing. When you're doing ninja breaths, try and practice trying to breathing in on the sound you would be singing out on, and that helps with the tempo and the timing of that phrase whenever you need to take that. Okay, any other questions at the moment, folks?
I don't think so.
You're very well behaved. You're very well behaved. Now, I'm going to encourage you to do a couple of things, folks. Obviously, this session is notes, breaths, and words, and we've gone through quite a lot of notes, some of the notes, breaths, and words. There doesn't seem to be any massive questions from you, so I'm going to assume that generally we're kind of all right-ish with our notes, breaths, and words. With what you want to be looking at doing is, if you can attend some other sectionals, you will always get different things from all the different sections. Because you've got different section leaders. Now, you will know this because you'll have gone to sessions, and everybody has their own way of doing things. Everybody has their own important thing. They've got their own not quite their own axe to grind, but they're slightly biased towards certain things. Some people are biased towards tuning, some people towards tone, some people towards breath, and hence those section leaders will always be giving you a different flavor of the message. The message is the same because it's go with what the scores do and we'll go with what the tracks do, but you're always going to get different warm-ups, you're going to get different things. Even if you went to another notes, words and breath session, someone else might run it differently than me. And certainly what I'm not trying to do is be prescriptive in what I'm telling my section leaders to do. I've given them a general overview of what this session should probably be about, and we discussed it as a team, but I've then said, go with what you feel comfortable with and go with what the singers want. So all of you probably are maybe are definitely to the point where you could go into session 2 and do phrasing and musicality because you're relatively confident on your notes, words and breaths. Okay? Whereas some people who come into notes, words so you can go into any section, any session at any time. And if you go into, for example, if you go into session 2, if you go into phrasing musicality, it doesn't mean that if then there's a session that suits you, that is session 1 on notes, words and breaths, all practice is good practice. And also, as I said on my stream yesterday night, the actual community of being able to meet people. So there's no reason to think, oh, well, I've already done a session 1. I shouldn't do another session 1. So I won't because, oh, no, I've already done one. It's fine. If you want to tune into another sectional and you want to come and say hello to some of your fellow sopranos and just run through the song, when you're on mute, you can be running through the phrasing and musicality, even if other people in that session are running through the notes, breaths and words. You can always be working at that slightly higher level because
it is a way of just singing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a way of singing, and it means that you always get a different message. You might get a different warm-up, and you see the faces. You see people, and you can talk to them, and therefore that's always a useful thing as well. So the social aspect is also quite important. So I would say go into session 1s and 2s and 3s and the phrasing musicality. Feel free to go into a putting it all together session where you can actually get the chance to sing live in that session if you want to and get some feedback from the section leader and the other singers in that session, which is always useful if you're wanting to test yourself and how you're doing. But make sure that you're just booking sessions and you'll always get something different because all the section leaders have been told to play to their strengths as opposed to follow a lesson plan or anything like that from me where I tell them what they have to say and what they have to do, because that's not my style. So hopefully that is useful. Is there any questions before we kind of call it? Because we've actually gone through all the stuff that I was wanting to go through in this session. And all we do again is probably just sing the whole thing again, but we've done that. So I'm kind of mindful that I don't want to make the sessions longer than they need to be when we've gone through the content. So yeah, it's just good to see people. It's nice to get the second phase started. Obviously, do check through with the app. It seems to be up and down a little bit at the moment, the booking app, but I have shared all the pictures for today. If we have problems with the booking app once we get through to this afternoon, I will also be putting out a picture of all the sessions for tomorrow on the Facebook page. Just so that people, if they are having issues and they can't get onto the rehearsal app, they don't miss rehearsals that otherwise they would have made. So do keep on trying the app, but obviously the man who's organising it is spending a lot of time trying to sort it out. But again, like anything, he designed it from the ground up, and like anything, there's why apps that get developed, they usually go through a long period of testing. And he had basically, I think, 45 minutes once he'd properly done it to then test it, and therefore it didn't pick up all the potential glitches and bugs that it might well have in it. So he is addressing them as he goes. We just wanted to get it out, so do be patient with it and know that the pictures are on the members page, and we'll try and get the information out to you, which should be fine. Any other questions before we go?
Can I just
Marie.
ask something?
Yes, you can, Marie. Of course you can.
When we do the recording, do we do it without our music in front of us? We must know it off by heart, so to speak.
Now you've asked me the question there. I would be honest. I do not have any issues if you look at your music. However, if your music is relative, if you're holding your music in your hand, and therefore what we hear on the recording, because paper is annoyingly loud, is lots of shuffling, that might mean that therefore someone comes back to you and says, any chance of not shuffling the paper quite so loudly next to your phone? Because that's obviously... And if we get that times 500, it's going to be a problem. But I don't mind if people use those scores. It would be better if people knew their notes and things, but to have it there just as an aid memoir, just in case, is fine. You will be recording as well to a video, as in there'll be a conductor video, but it will have the guide video track on it. So your coloured box version. So you need to know the notes, but you will be able to still see your breath points, and you'll be able to see where the notes move up and down. So, and basically, if I was looking at the screen, I'd be singing to my phone while watching the thing on the screen, watching the conducting video, and you'll see all those boxes moving up and down. So really, the words are important, but a lot of the notes and the phrasing you're going to visually be seeing in colour in the coloured boxes, and I'll be doing a conducting video for every part. So I'll also have a video where I'm actually doing the conducting and telling you when to come off, telling you when to breathe. So we're going to try and make sure that it's as close as it would be if we were actually in chorus, where you can follow your chorus director, and then literally they will give you your breath points, they will give you where the S's are, and that should hopefully help as well.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Simon,
Okay, folks, we're at 9. Yes.
Simon, what is the time scale before we start recording?
We start recording on the 18th of May. We're not really accepting recordings before the 18th of May. The final deadline is the 25th of May. However, if people want feedback, we're going to give everyone feedback up to a point. So I think feedback stops on the 23rd of May. So really, the last 2 days is, so basically, if you send a recording in on the 18th of May or the 19th of May, section leaders will listen to it, divvy it up, and they will then come back with some feedback on your recording. And then that gives you a couple of days to then, if you want to be able to work on that feedback, to therefore maybe fix some of the things that they've picked up on. And what we're doing is things that you can pick up on within the space of a couple of days. So nothing like you need to spend 6 years working on your vocal tone and have vocal lessons. Here's my number and this is what I charge per hour. Definitely not that. But therefore something that simple things. I mean, I phrased it with the music team as quick wins. So something that's a quick win, that therefore it might just be, okay, well, you may want to, in that phrase, take another ninja breath because it sounded like you were maybe not quite, you weren't getting all the way to the end of the phrase with a full tank. Maybe try and find another ninja breath. That's something that everybody could go away and look at. Or it might be, just be careful at the longer notes. You seem to be slightly dipping down in pitch. Just try and give it a little bit of lightness, and they can therefore tell that person what they might do to address like a relatively, I say simple, but obviously a relatively simple issue that they can therefore rehearse, send a recording back, hopefully having identified and improved some of those things. Does that make sense? Yeah, so that starts on the 18th. That's on Monday, I think. That's next Monday that we start having recordings, and they're basically, by the time we reach the Sunday, the end of that week, that's the final deadlines for recordings. Although if they end up being a couple of days after the deadline, to be honest, I'm not going to refuse to accept them if they're like 1 minute past midnight on the 26th of May. I'm not going to kind of delete it and then send the person something mean and say you've missed the boat. Goodbye, you're the weakest link. So yeah, we're not going to do that.
Another thought that I had, when we record, do we sing full volume or do we just in a soft voice?
Sing as you usually would. So don't try to manufacture your voice into like I've got to sing it quiet because I've got a phone near me recording. Sing it as you usually would in a group, because the tone will be massively affected if you're like whisper singing. Like if you kind of like one more, it's just like don't be tentative. Stand up nice and there, and stand up properly, and then give it some. Doesn't mean be loud all the way through, but where there's dynamic contrast and it wants to build and be loud, then build and be loud. What you want to do is maybe with your phone, when you're doing recording, and there'll be a video on this, but before you do like the version, make sure that you've tested a couple of times with, okay, I'm going to sing quietly, and check my phone, listen back to it and go, oh yeah, cool, I can hear that. And then check and sing loudly, and then check that your phone is also picking up that right. So you can just, it doesn't even have to be the song, but you could just sing some notes that are quiet, sing some stuff that's loud, listen back to it with headphones on from your phone, and then go, yeah, that sounds okay. Or, oh, what's that sound in the background? And then you'll find out there's a clock in your room that you can't hear, but the phone randomly picks up ridiculously loud, or the birds outside are really loud. It's like weird stuff with microphones, is that they pick up things that we don't hear ourselves. So we had to ask some people on the last time to redo their recordings because someone had a clock and it was literally like tick, tock, tick, tock, all the way through the song. It was like, oh, but they couldn't even hear it when they were recording. But on the phone, it picked it up really loud. So just be aware of that, and make sure you don't do a recording and send it through without having listened to it. Even though we all hate our own voices and we all think, oh, it's terrible, oh, it's awful, just listen to it, check the background noise, check that if you've got paper you can't like hear yourself rustling, because it's all those things that are just different. I can't get rid of those things. And yet always sing at the best you can with the tone, and imagine you're on a stage in front of thousands of people and sing as you would, and give it the emotion it needs. Excellent, folks. I'm going to call it there. I'm going to get myself another cup of coffee. I have my next session is at 11, so I've got a little bit of a break now to get myself some breakfast and go and get the kids some breakfast as well. I'm sure they'll be ravenous by now. They're probably eating each other. So I've got another one at 11, so it's great to see you. What I will do is this session I will, and it probably won't be until slightly later on today, but this session I'll just pop up a link to this so you can go back and re-watch anything that you want to. If there's any, can't remember what I did say to any of your questions, you can pop back. I do it with pretty much all my sessions. I just pop them on a link, and then you can then go and watch them back and then run through anything that you want to run through. And that's cool. Also, it means that my music team can then always watch back sessions if they're wanting tips and tricks and things that they might want to do with warm-ups and things, or whatever. Then they can do that. Some of them randomly like watching my sessions. I find that weird, but who am I to judge them for wanting to watch me talking for an hour? But there we go. Thank you so much, folks. Hope to see you in another section. I'm not sure how many soprano sectionals I've got now. Like I said, today I've tried to book lots of different types of sessions so I can be sharing some of those videos with various like section leaders. So I've done baritone, soprano. I'm doing a solo melody one. I've got a phase 2 soprano later on. Putting it all together for the basses, a phrasing musicality for alto 1, and I finished my day at 11 o'clock on a phrasing musicality for the basses. So I'm going to be done by about 10 past midnight, having started at 8. So I've got some schoolwork to do as well. So all good. But yeah, so I've got a few things there. So great to see you, folks. Let me know if you need anything. Bear with the app rehearsal thing. The pictures are up there so you can use them as well. They're pinned to the top of the Facebook members group. And brilliant to see you, folks. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
And I'll hopefully see you soon. Okay. See you later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.